Hello everyone, alot here. Today I decided to play a few more games and record them in Hearthstone. I ended up playing a lot of games off camera and ranking up after these games, but the purpose of these games was to film some more Dragon Priest. I really like the deck and I think it's completely underrated right now. I mean, then again, this is rank 19. I have purposely reached rank 20 to rank 19. I haven't been playing at all this season. I've been mostly in uni and my university, dealing with work issues and dealing with personal issues as well. My dog, I have a new dog. My dog needs a lot of attention. So I haven't had much time to play, but I did record 2 games today. And now I am doing the narration, so here we go. The first game is against a druid. Generally at this rank 19, you'll find the druids are mostly tempo or aggro druids, and so I decided to keep Shadow Word Pain in my opening hand mulligan, specifically because I knew he would play a 2-drop like Darnassus Aspirant or Knife Juggler. I'm not sure which one he played. He plays Knife Juggler. So these kind of 2-drops are typical in the aggro druid. You see Darnassus Aspirant turn 2 or Juggler turn 2. They'll do one of the two. They'll either play the Juggler or the Aspirant to die, and then they'll play the next one. So they'll play. Imagine they play the Juggler. They'll play the Aspirant so it can stick on board, or they'll play the Aspirant to die, and then they'll play the Juggler so the Juggler sticks on board. Unfortunately for him, we had a great opening hand. We got very lucky in our dragon draws. We decided to keep coin and play our Blackwing Technician here and get the full value and a full effect of the 3/5. So he even though he is at 5 mana ramped up from the dragon, the Darnassus Aspirant, he has no answers, so he's forced to answer very expensively, overkill the 3/5 with bad answers. I think that's going to be swipe. Not sure. So yes, he does play swipe, and it's overkill on the 3/5, and it's great for us because not only does he waste an answer, he also wastes a mana crystal, and we play on curve again the 3/5 Dragonkin Sorcerer. Again, the synergy is brilliant in this deck with Dragonkin Sorcerer and Velen's Chosen, and we did end up having the Velen's Chosen here. So he top decks this, which is a bit unlucky because if he had in turn 1, it would have been a lot better. I did have full board clear here with the Holy Nova, both from the top deck and from the one in hand, but I decided to coin out and use a Technician and a Velen's Chosen, so that if he does overextend on board, I had the answer for a board clear. So we're in a pretty good situation right now. We're just playing very comfortably on curve, very comfortably with tempo. This is what Dragon Priest excels at, playing on tempo, playing on curve, with all the good dragon synergy, with all the good spell answers. A big problem with the Dragon Priest deck is that when you do run out of curve or tempo, you have to start drawing, and drawing is not always the best. You have to, you have 2 or 3 draw mechanics with Northshire Cleric or Power Word Shield, and those are your main draw mechanics. So here again, he doesn't have an answer to this board, and he overcommits, so he has to answer expensively with Savage Roar. So that's 2 big threats we've eliminated just by playing on curve, which is fantastic. Just simply by playing on curve, we eliminated 2 great threats, which is Savage Roar and Swipe. And we killed an Aspirant and a Juggler, which are also big threats early game. Make sure you find an answer for those 2 cards versus the Tempo Druid. They're very important to his early game and mid game, so the longer those stick around on the board, the worse it is for you. This is just routine stuff. Rank 19, you really don't have to be so worried about your strategy or your plays. Eventually you'll find, plays or something that suits you. I was trying to send a message to a friend that I found online, but Hearthstone was bugging out, so I decided not to do that. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. When you don't have the tempo, you're forced to draw expensively. I could have hit the 2/4, the Keeper of the Grove, and healed up the 3/5, the Dragonkin Sorcerer, with the draw mechanic on the Northshire to heal and draw a card, but I decided to go face since there's no point. At this point I realized I should have done it, because he does kill the Northshire Cleric for free, and that's one less draw mechanic for me. So now there are only 2 remaining draw mechanics in this deck. Actually 3, with Azure Drake. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Azure Drake. It's a great card. Spell power, dragon, and draw mechanics, so it's fantastic in this deck. So he clears 2 minions out of the 3 on board. But I mean, it would have been a lot easier, the game, if from this point onwards I had drawn on curve with significant tempo, but I didn't. So the game got very slow here, very slow, because you need to have a sticky board, and Dragon Priest minions are very sticky, but when you don't draw that synergy or that tempo, they're not sticky at all. Suddenly they become very slow, very vulnerable, very weak, and their board presence is nothing. As this 1/4 Wormrust Ancient, I mean, right now it's not doing anything, it's just being played for the extra 1 damage every single turn. Sometimes that 1 damage every single turn can be decisive though. In this case, I don't think it was. I just think it's the fact that he ran out of answers very early. We eliminated a lot of big threats. He drew into bad cards from Nourish, I think. We got a bit lucky as well. In Hearthstone, you'll understand that there's always a bit of luck involved, no matter how good of a player you are, no matter how bad of a player you are. And that luck sometimes can be a crucial point. If you're winning, you generally don't want to do high risk involved plays, but on the other hand, if you are losing, high risk involved plays is the kind of plays you should be doing most of the time, because if you are losing, then you have nothing else to lose. You're already in a losing situation, so you might as well go for the winning play. But if you are winning, which is what I am right now, I was winning, you just have to play safe and find a way to remove, even if it's expensive removal right here. Like Holy Nova is very expensive removal, but it ends up working out. With this 3/2, the effect is fantastic. I forgot this guy's name. Anyway, so that's basically what's going on. We remove boards again. I think we've had board control for at least 10 turns now. And you know, it's funny that even though Dragon Priest is not a control deck, it can be played in a very control-ish manner, just like I'm showcasing here. But that is mostly when you do run out of tempo. So when you have tempo option and control options, you should always go for the tempo options. Always, because early game you need that tempo, because you're not a control deck. Dragon Priest is not a control deck. I'm not sure how much I have to stress this. It's really important. Late game, however, if you don't have the tempo, by all means, go for the control. Go for the value. If you can't find that tempo, it really is important that you do get that control. If you don't have control of board or tempo, then you basically lose. So here, if I had been lucky, I would have drawn into Dragon and had a Corruptor, but I didn't, so I placed both the Corruptor, the Naked Corruptor, and the Dark Cultist on board. It looks from this at this angle right here, for this specific turn, it looks like a good board, and he only has 2 cards in hand, and I have more tempo, so the 2 cards can't be outweighed by my 1 card. And he's forced to use both cards to try and threaten my board. He does clear the 5/4, but it's almost irrelevant. So at this point I do get one of my draw mechanics into another draw mechanic, and I think, wow, the control of this board is absolutely over. This guy should lose. But it seemed to be a very painful, very painful loss. He does say well played, acknowledging that he's lost by now. I say well played as well. Just a little bit of sportsmanship there. Never try and be the BM guy. So he had Force of Nature top deck. It does save his skin for a few more turns. But imagine if he did have board control all those turns ago and we had misplayed and we hadn't removed anything and he had got lucky in his draws and he wasn't able to you know, draw into expensive answers. We would have been in a pretty bad situation here. So he clears board and the Dark Cultist effect goes onto our originally 1/4 Warmest Agent, which is now a 1/10 from 2 Dark Cultist triggers, which is funny. In fact, it's actually this, even though this Warmest Agent isn't doing anything, it's actually the Warmest Agent that wins the game, because later on I do draw into a Vol'jin. If you don't know what Vol'jin does, Vol'jin is able to swap his current health for the health of another minion, friendly or enemy. So this, I think this Warmest Agent reaches a total health of 12, and then we draw into Vol'jin and swap 110 or 112 for 612, which is great value. And that wins the game, even though the game was already won. It was just a very slow death. So this 2/6 on board isn't doing anything. This Twilight Guardian means nothing right now, neither does this 110. He knows it, I know it. He has one card, Hero Power Up, seems like the play for him right now. He's not going to be able to do anything in this position. Neither am I though, so it's a bit of a boring situation where both of us acknowledge the end, but there's nothing about it to rush. So we get another draw mechanic, and we give the Power Word the 112. I thought, you know, now that we have it, now that it's 110, I might as well give it, you know, another extra 2 health. Yeah, and then I get very unlucky and draw into another Warmest Agent. So we didn't get good value from that Power Word shield at all. He draws another card, but I'm not sure if he plays it. I can't remember what he plays. Let's see what he plays. I think he just does the usual hero power thing. Oh no, he had a Force of Nature in his hand last turn, and he was wondering whether he should use it. Now that he sees that I don't have any threats, he uses it, tried to stall the game. If I had Inner Fire, this game would have been a lot different. So we play a Naked Corruptor again. I don't know why. We decided to keep Corruptor. We decided to be greedy and keep Corruptor and play the control game. Yeah, that's why we went face. Usually I make the play before I go face. So if you see me going face, that's because I already have the play in mind. But I never. There we go. That's the Vol'jin, the 512. I do give him a good friendly greeting. Greetings, 612. And he concedes here, yeah. But I never go face unless I am in either total desperation or I have a play in mind. And I also recommend that you don't go face before you make your plays, so you don't end up in a situation of, you know, despair or panic later on when you do eventually or possibly lose board control. So we won that game easy peasy. We absolutely train roll that guy. Unlucky for him. It's sad that most players nowadays rank 19, 18, 17 face like a lot of good players, even though they're very, very bad players at these ranks. It's sad that, I'm not saying I'm a good player, I'm saying that it's the skill level now at rank 19 has gone skyrocketed. When I was first playing Hearthstone and I was trying to climb ladder and I was stuck at what, rank 16, 17. I remember that even though I was stuck at that rank, it was the skill level was fair, it was organized, you know. The skill level wasn't out of control. You didn't see net decks or expensive legendary cards or a lot of high dust decks. You just saw mostly custom decks. And you don't see that a lot nowadays. You see a lot of expensive decks, you see a lot of net decks, you see a lot of players with experience, because either they don't have the time to play full try-hard mode, or they have jobs and they just play for fun, even though they do have the experience under their belts. So we're playing against a rogue. We got a 2-4 on the board. We got away with coining a 2-4 without anything else in hand, because we had a Power Word Shield, and I was hoping to draw into a Whelpling, and we did draw into a Whelpling, and I was like, oh my god, that was extremely lucky at this point. I thought, wow, this can't be happening. And we even had the Velen's Chosen for next turn. It was a great few turns. Great first 3 turns. We got unpunished for coining a 2-4 without any follow-up. Our follow-up was just card draw, and we drew into a 1-drop minion that was a very powerful 1-drop minion with Dragon Synergy. And we had a follow-up for Velen's Chosen, and we even cleared this 3-3 Bloodsail Raider, which could have been out of hand if he had poison. And had I not used Power Word Shield on the 2-4. So we clear that, and it's just simple, slow, routine turns. Just clear board, go face. And these even though these cards are a bit fancy with the clears, like Velen's Chosen is not a card that you usually use for board clear. It's a card that used Threaten with board presence. It worked out very well here, and it works out very well, very well in this deck. So he's playing kind of tempo rogue with combo mechanics, like this Undercity Valiant and the Barber that gives him weapon damage. And we draw again, and we draw into a Technician. And at this point I'm just like, wow. You have some lucky days and you have some unlucky days, and this definitely was one of my lucky days with drawing and playing on curve and top decking good cards. So yeah, there's a lot of luck involved in your draws in Hearthstone. That's why a lot of people joke around with Hearthstone. It's a children's card game. It's not a fair competitive gameplay. How is it an esports? I don't know. It's even though these math these math RNG calculations are in the game, and it's all a question of being lucky or not. In the end, it is a skill game. I think you do have some kind of skill behind the game, knowledge mostly, not skill, knowledge of what to play, when to play, how to play, who to play, and etc. When not to play, if this is a mistake, is that a mistake, when to hold back, all that stuff. So we do get perfect turns every single turn, and keeping that Azure Drake in hand for the Dragon Synergy paid off really well. It paid off brilliantly. Here I had an even better turn. I could keep board and put down another Twilight Whelp. This Twilight Whelp had been through quite a few alterations. Look at that buff list. That's crazy. Velen's Chosen and Power Word Shield. That's crazy, actually. That's quite something. So we hold on over the 6-4 Shadow Pan for 4 damage, because we have Velen's Chosen and spell damage, and the Azure Drake also gives us spell damage. We go face, and we drop the second Twilight Whelp, and we manage to keep board. And wow, look at that. Turn 6, he's already at 7 health. I hadn't even realized that. I really hadn't realized that. I was thinking to myself, turn 7 lethal. No, another. That's a dank meme. If you don't know, that's a Hunter meme. Search up DJ Carl the Dog Smork. You'll realize what turn 7 lethal means. But he clears our Drake. I don't know why he doesn't want to clear the Twilight Whelp, the 4/1. That's actually the most threatening card right now on board. And that's it. That's game. That's game. Right now I was thinking of ways to BM to kill. I did do a bit of BM because I was feeling in the mood for BM. But I always advise against BM. Don't BM. I'm a bit used to BM. It's where I got my name from. Cancer Lord, Lord of the Cancer decks, Lord of the BM. In my original days of Hearthstone. So that's why I BM. But you shouldn't BM. You shouldn't. I highly recommend you don't BM. sometimes it can go very badly. But he also BMs here. I think that's why I BM'd, because he BMs with a rope. He could have just end turn concede, but he BMs with a rope. And I was thinking, you know, if he BMs, I BM. I even had the top deck to shove it in his face, but I didn't want to shove it in his face that much, so I just did a little bit of BM. Actually, I didn't do any. Oh no, I did do the BM. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Those are the 2 games I recorded today. I hope you enjoy them. I hope this commentary is improving. And my name is Cancer Lord. I'll see you next time. Peace out.